We're back, and you're listening to Business Podcasting Made Easy, the Influencers Formula. We are broadcasting on the IBGR Network, International Business Growth Radio. I am Donna Cundy. I am here with Ben Joya. This is episode number 6, and we're going to be talking about titles that speak the language of your listeners while attracting and transforming listeners minute by minute. Minute by minute, we got a theme there. And so what are we going to be talking about over the next 13 minutes? We're going to be talking about a needle in a haystack. That's easy. Just bring a magnet. You want to get that needle out? Just bring a magnet. That's by Keith R.A. DeCandido, The Zoo Job. Ben, why did we choose this one for this episode?
Oh, because it's so important to think out of the box, think outside the box, break down the box, whatever analogy you want to use when you're thinking about bringing your podcast, bringing your message to the world, right? And becoming a person worth listening to, because most people, the needle in a haystack conundrum, so hard to find. And it's like, no, well, flip it on its back, right? Pull out the magnet and make it happen, right? Well, so one way to do that is becoming a person worth listening to by speaking the language of the people you serve and by getting inside their heads. And I like to say, Donna, in a good way.
Yeah, the language of the people you serve. There's so many people who will get behind a microphone. I've seen this, I've talked about the 14,000 I've helped to produce. I've listened to a lot of podcasters, and there's a lot of times behind the microphone where the language is all me, I. It's not the language of you. I understand you. I understand your pain. I understand your struggle. Why do I understand it? Because I've been there. I'm just a little bit ahead of you, and I want to take you along with me. And so what we're going to be doing in this episode is going deep into how to find that language, because a lot of episodes, they're vague. They don't deliver a clear desired outcome or results. They go on and on and on for 25 minutes, 30 minutes, an hour, 2 hours, however long. And you finish it and you're like, okay, what do I do now? If you listen.
Exactly. I mean, that's, more power to that person who listened through all of that without any kind of resolution or benefit at the end.
Yeah. Right? Yeah, on the edge of their seat waiting for it.
Right. Totally. And then not delivering. I mean, it is really a disservice, and we don't want you to do that. Right. So keep paying attention to what we say, right? The clear and desired outcome or result is really important for your episode. Right? People are paying you literally their most valuable resource, their time, to listen to your show, right? And they'll do this when they believe and trust in you that your promise will help them. And you might be having that moment of, oh my God, what kind of promise, what kind of transformation, capital T, what am I going to offer? And it doesn't have to be huge. Just open somebody's eyes to the next level of what's possible. If they don't think that they can accomplish A, B, or C, show them very simply that they can accomplish A, B, and C, right? Like, just like I said before, flip that perspective, step outside of the box, right? And give people, something that's simple that makes them go, oh.
Yeah, right? because the podcasts are marketing. It's a marketing tool for you.
Exactly. Yeah, that whole, can't stop listening to you bit, right? Just keep little bits of satisfaction, I like to say.
So you want to structure them to convert all the time.
Absolutely.
You want to solve problems, and you want to be that heart-centered, I believe you want to be that heart-centered, caring person behind the microphone. But I talk about this a lot with business coaching, that people don't pay me. They invest in their transformation, and the more they're willing to invest, the faster their transformation comes. Well, it's the same thing with your episodes. That's why we're doing this impact of 13 minutes, and you want to structure it to convert, because you're not able to have the two-way conversation. You got to get them off their seat doing things right away. And if you don't, you're not going to be able to cut through all the digital noise. There's a lot of missed opportunities. You've been given a gift, and we want to position you to make the most impact.
Yeah, Donna, thank you so much for saying that. Super duper important here. Because the people are looking to solve problems, right? And in and among the noise, right? It's like the standing out is not necessarily by the being loud and flamboyant and, outrageous, although it could be sometimes.
Howard Stern.
Right. But in this case, what are the words that your people are saying, right? How do those play into each of those episodes? How does that relate to that outcome, right? So sometimes you hear the word convert and you think, well, convert just means, I'm selling something. Well, it could mean that you're selling something or making an invitation, but convert is also, I like to think of, does it convert? Do people say yes in some kind of way? Do they listen? That's a conversion to me, right? Do they click like? Do they leave a review, right? Do they come listen to the next episode? Do they
do the action you want them to do?
Yeah, and any and all of those things, really, right? Because I often use the analogy with my clients, right? That the idea of a cascading waterfall, right? Like you're not selling somebody, your $20,000 program from the podcast, right? You're inviting people to say yes to you way at the beginning of the conversation in the relationship that can lay the groundwork for that opportunity and transformation to happen.
Well, and when I say take the action that you want them to take, what I'm meaning by that is in each episode, you're giving a transformation action. And we want your listeners to do it on their own, DIY it until they can't. And then they can reach out to you. You can be that trusted expert at that point. And whether it's another free resource or a paid resource, doesn't matter, because the point of all of this is transformation. The point of all of this is transformation of your listener. And so allow them the opportunity to do, because you and I talked about this in the very beginning. Do we give it all on the table or do we hold some back? No, we give it all on the table and let you figure it out. Do the work as we take you step by step. And if you can't, then you can reach out to us, right? If you can reach out to us if you want that extra help. And for us, me and Ben, that's at theinfluencersformula.com. It's this idea of this 13 minutes. You're wrapping your head around it because you're still listening. This is episode 5, and you're doing the work that we're asking you to do in each episode, I hope. And if at any point during this 13-week journey, there's a hiccup or a question, or I'm not quite sure how to move forward from this one, reach out to us, influencersformula.com. But at the heart of it, Ben, it's making it easier for your listeners, right? Connecting the dots. I'm going to turn this over to you because you're the word guy.
I'm the gooder and gooder word guy.
Yeah. You're better bestest than me.
Oh, beautiful. Yeah. Donna, you said it right there in good words. Make it easy for your listeners. Right?
Mo better.
Yep. Connect the dots with a great title. And I want to drill in for a moment to the connecting the dots part of this, right? So your listeners, AKA your ideal clients, your ideal strategic partners, your leads, right? Your listeners, right? Those are people, they are smart people, they're intelligent people. They want what you have to offer, assuming you're listening to what they say, right? And they're super busy, right? And they're running around having their lives, doing their business or work or whatever the case may be, right? So connect the dots for them. So great title for your podcast is really, really important. And if you need to say things like, listen up, moms, right? Like put that in your podcast title, right? Like, best chocolate chip cookies here, put that in your podcast title, right? Donna.
Yeah, because they listen with their eyes first, don't they?
Yeah, that's exactly what it is.
They got to stop. They got to stop this. You got to stop the scroll with the title. You just did a LinkedIn thing on titles. I saw that.
Yes. Yeah. Thank you. Yeah. I talk about the 6-word titles, right?
Yeah.
Like you can tell such a story in the space of 6 words, right? Not just a title, right? But you can actually tell a story in the space of 6 words. And not that you don't feel compelled to do this right at this moment, right? We're not saying specifically do this, but understand the power of the words and the power of clear, compelling communication that comes from the words of your people, that you get to put in these little spaces of 13 minutes of transformation.
Because they're never going to listen to you if they can't get past your title.
Right.
They just won't. Right. The time is too valuable. There's two things that business owners don't have enough of, most of them, and it's time and money. And you can get more money, but you can't get more time.
Yeah.
So just this concept of your potential listener is listening with their eyes every time, even for those that, you're starting to build a tribe and become that influencer, you can't let this slip.
Yeah, you can't. And Donna, there's even a deeper layer that I love to bring into the mix here of, because your listener is listening with their eyes first and foremost, even if they don't catch that episode, you've left an impression, right?
Mm-hmm.
You've been consistent with your brand. You've been consistent with your message. You've been consistent with, hey, I made this promise to deliver this transformation, and week by week, episode by episode, I'm delivering that transformation. So even if they don't hear everything that you say, right, that there's still impression, there's still transformation happening, there's still you positioning yourself as that expert, authority, or thought leader by showing up again and again and delivering on what you promised.
Mm-hmm. What's the formula for that, Ben? For the titles?
Would that be the influencer's formula?
Well, you're thinking about who you love to serve, right?
Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah, thank you. I'm so influencer formula focused right now. Because this is so much fun. I'm like, is it the influencer formula, right? But yeah, really just focusing. I like to think of the like a stool, right? The three legs of who you specifically love serving, right? What they will happily invest in, and that because you've had conversations with them, and your special sauce, right? So that combination of your skills, experience, expertise, hard-earned wisdom, case studies, credentials, education, like all the stuff that makes you, right? That's your special sauce. And that's super important to be in the mix for your podcast, for your branding, for your positioning, because that's the stuff that helps you stand out as a unique expert. And once again, that makes you worth listening to.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And we're going to wrap it up on that note. So if you haven't done the research yet, do the research on your people, have conversations with them. That's so important to learn their language, is actually having those conversations. And then we're asking you to take action. Imagine what it's like when people can't stop listening to your podcast and they share it because it's impacting their business and their lives. Take the next 13 minutes and start writing those titles that convert now. Do it now, do it now, do it now, do it now. You don't want to do it later because later will never happen. Do it now. And if you run into any problems, Donna and Ben are at theinfluencersformula.com. This is episode 6, episode titles that speak the language of your listeners while attracting and transforming listeners minute by minute. We've got 2 more episodes coming up. Don't go anywhere.
See you next time.